I think every single thing we've touched upon will play into whether or not you as a new Cane Corso owner views a scenario as too much or aggressive or I can't handle it.
You know what? I want to give away my dog. I don't like him. I just want to give him away.
That's the saddest, rudest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Do you know how many times a week I get DM'd about people wanting to give up their dogs? And that's why I decided we have to do a video on this issue that seems to be very prominent in the Cane Corso world. I'm going to read you a DM I got, and it's still unread. And what I'm going to do is I'll reply to the individual with this video. But before I read this DM, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, ring my ding-a-ling so you miss any of those videos on Cane Corsos or Bruce Wayne. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna let Kara read this DM.
Oh, okay. Hi, Jason. I have a Cane Corso Zeus who has become too much for my family, and I have no choice but to give him up to someone else. Zeus has become a little aggressive, but I do not believe he is truly an aggressive dog, but I do believe that he is just scared of everything. I obviously want what's best for my dog and do not want him to be in the wrong hands, and I ultimately want him to become the dog I know he can. I was wondering if you knew anybody who would be willing to take him and ultimately do the right thing by him. That breaks my heart.
Yep.
Breaks my heart.
And I get these all the time.
Like, you get them all the time that people want to give up their Cane Corso?
Yeah, and like, I don't know how to even respond to that. And she can attest to how much a struggle it is for me posting videos on this channel because of Bruce Wayne.
Jason has said this time and time again, like one of the things that he loves and hates about the spotlight and the legend Bruce Wayne he's created here on this channel and the amount of stardom, if you will, that's occurred, is that a lot of people are getting Cane Corsos thinking like, oh, that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Bruce Wayne and it's going to be that easy.
And I've done so many videos on why you can't own a Cane Corso.
Yes.
Watch this, issues with Cane Corsos, what it takes to own a Cane Corso. It's not your typical dog. You've had dogs your whole entire life. I've had dogs my whole entire life. And this breed by far is beyond any other type of breed I've had before, from their emotional state to how protective they are, to the size of them, to, their love that they have towards their people, which, can only really be brought out if your dog's raised properly. And our apologies, guys, if this video is a little bit all over the place. We are literally just freeballing this. We have no script. We have no talking points. We just want to have a general discussion with you guys and why it's so important to know what you're getting into before you get any breed, be it a Cane Corso, be it an Akita, be it a Labrador. Every breed has their own traits. If you like how a dog looks, if you like a dog's size, it goes far beyond that. And you can't just get a dog based on that. You need to get a dog based on what you can handle as a leader and what you're willing to do for your dog to satisfy their instincts within that breed.
I don't want to sit here and be a hypocrite because I feel like there are probably scenarios where it may be best for that dog to be rehomed. I'm not saying a dog should never be rehomed. I think it would depend on the scenario. But unfortunately, I think a lot of times what happens with people is they just go by looks for how a dog seems to be, and they don't really do the research to fully understand what it's going to take to properly train and give the dog what it needs. So whether you're getting it because your kid wants it or your wife wants it or what have you, you really have to do a lot of research to figure out if you are willing to give the dog the best home ahead of time. Not when the going gets tough during the first year of life, where it is friggin' tough. And
it's
training
really hard. The first 2 years.
Time intensive, and you guys have to remember, Jason and I don't have kids. We dedicated ourselves to training Bruce Wayne. We gave up weekends doing other things. We gave up quality time with each other.
We gave up date nights. We gave up going to the movies for a long time.
A lot of sacrifice happened.
So much. We gave up a lot of traveling just so we could be with him during a crucial state of his life when we're raising him to act appropriately like we want him to act.
Right.
This is what we wanted in a dog, and this is what we created. And it started with finding a proper breeder. We had to find a good breeder who not only bred for, health, but it was very important to find a breeder that really bred for temperament. Bruce Wayne's father was a champion show dog. He was an IPO champion. He was a working dog. He was a therapy dog. He had all of the traits that we wanted in a dog, and there's so much of Ruru in Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he also loved just laying around in the mud and cuddling with his people.
Like, Bruce Wayne is his father on a lot of levels. We haven't trained Bruce Wayne to be a show dog or IPO, things like that, but his personality, Bruce Wayne has a lot of those traits, which if we did not water those traits to make them flourish, Bruce Wayne wouldn't be Bruce Wayne that you know today. He would be a completely different dog.
And with finding the right breeder, that was the other thing, was the breeder chose the puppy right for us. We didn't just go, I like the way that guy looks, I'm going to take him. That is not how our breeder worked. They did a lot of discussion with Jason and I on the phone to figure out what our lifestyle entailed, what we wanted, what we had for a house, what we planned in our future, and they literally picked him as the perfect puppy for us, and they did a phenomenal job.
And a lot of people, and the thing is, you have to find a breeder you can trust, because a lot of people are like, oh, you should just pick out your own dog. Well, I'm a very common sense person. Common sense to me is, I see a litter of 13 puppies, I can assess them for what, an hour? Where the breeder has been with them for 7 to 8 weeks every single day. They know their dogs inside and out. They're going to see things that we're not going to see within that hour time frame, which is why I wanted the breeder to choose what I wanted it for a personality in a dog. Before we go any further, I know there's a lot of people out there who have connections in the Cane Corso world who are looking to home dogs, foster dogs. So I'm going to share this video with this individual, so go ahead, leave a comment down below if any of you know a good source who may want to take this dog off this person's hands, because it sounds like they've already made up their mind and they want to get rid of the dog.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of this video, is to dissuade this person. It's more so for
they've already made up their mind, and if they've made up their mind, to me it already says that they shouldn't have probably even had this breed in the first place, which again goes back to, I don't know if they got it because of the channel, but that's where I really hate posting videos, and I'm always saying, guys, Bruce Wayne's Bruce Wayne because of all the training and time we put into him. It just doesn't happen like magic overnight.
A big point of doing this video is for those of you who are out there researching dogs and wanting to get a dog, just make sure you're thinking about the things Jason and I have touched upon before you get a dog, because like Jason said, regardless if you're getting a tiny little poodle or a big breed like Bruce Wayne, you have to understand the breed. You have to understand what it's going to take before you bring them into your environment. You have to understand how it may change your life, and are you willing to be okay with that and make sacrifices to make it work when it gets tough? Because although Bruce Wayne is a phenomenal being, I had many of mornings breaking down with him as a puppy, in tears, frustrated, wanting to give up with him, with this perfect being right here. I had many of mornings where and Jason was frustrated too. There was frustration with him, and we figured out ways to push through, and
And there's always going to be frustration with any dog.
There is.
The frustration with me came with when he was an adolescent, and all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm not going to recall anymore. You want me to come inside? I'm not going to come inside.
He was testing us.
And I'm glad we went through that experience, because now it's like, all right, bro, he doesn't do it anymore. He will come. And that's why you guys really have to take your training extremely important, which is why I'm always pushing the Fenrir training courses that we have. They're all linked in the description. There's a puppy training course. There's a canine boot camp. There's a raw feeding course. There's a bonus course on Cane Corsos if you get the bundle. I have an ebook that just outlines in detail our philosophies of how we train Bruce Wayne, of things that we did. We're offering you all these resources so you can have yourself a Bruce Wayne. Before we even got Bruce, we were studying the breed. We were refreshing our brains on how to train a puppy and what it takes to train a puppy.
And let's not forget, I didn't want this breed due to what they're capable of, right? He is capable of a lot of things, even though I sit here and say he's a gentle giant and he's my baby. He is capable of harming others. And I knew that getting a dog this strong with that kind of jaw on him, it made me concerned. And I knew how critical it would be to properly train this dog. And that scared me. I'll be honest, it scared me because I didn't know if I had what it took as a leader. What Jason and I created with Bruce was, for me, I was almost so scared that's why between Jason's leadership and teaching me, that's what brought me into being a good leader and really understanding it's not about emotionally what I want from this dog. It's thinking about what's in his best interest and also in everyone's best interest.
Yep.
And it was a huge mindset shift for me. And I feel like sometimes people can't get to that place, right? Like people want a dog for different reasons. People want a dog for emotional support and love and, they're fun to have around, right? But with this kind of a dog, it has to be more than that. You have to be willing to let go of that attitude almost and always go back to in your mind, what is best for this dog? What puts him in best case scenario at all times to keep him properly trained and to keep him successful? It was so much work that I haven't really wanted a puppy since, I'll be honest with you.
It's a lot of work.
Because it was so friggin' much, you guys. So if there is any ounce of hesitation that you may not be able to fulfill what's needed to train a dog like this, then wait. Just because your kid wants it or your wife watches the channel or what may have you have to make sure that you're in the right place possible to take this on. It's more work than people realize. I've had so many people, obviously we don't have children, but I've had people tell me, they're like, no, raising a puppy's harder than a baby. I don't know if that's true or not, but
it takes a lot of work, and you have to be with them constantly. You can't have a puppy, a 12-week-old puppy, and just be like, all right, I'm going to go to the beach for the day while the dog's in the crate.
Right.
You need to be teaching your dog how to act in the world, how to function in the world at that age, especially.
Yeah, your life's about to change, and it will change for, I would say, at least a year and a half, depending on the dog's maturity level. But a solid year and a half, your life is going to change, and it should change, and it needs to change in response to what's best for this creature. If you're not willing to do that and put in the work, please, please, please don't get a Cane Corso.
And even after puppyhood, like, our lives can't be like they were with Winston, Kara. Like,
No,
our lives just can't. Winston was cool. He was an English bulldog. We loved him to death. He was cool just hanging out in the house. He didn't want to go do anything. He's like, nope, cool.
He didn't even really want to be outside. Like,
let me
you
sleep
him
all
out,
day.
He wanted to come back in.
This breed is very family oriented. They want to be with their family. I'm home all day. Bruce Wayne isn't happiest until she's home. If I leave, he's not happiest until I get home and she's home. He's happiest with his family.
That's a good point. If you've got a big family or even a small family, but you're the type where you get a dog, but you like to be able to take off a lot and not bring the dog with you, that could potentially lead to some acting out on the dog's behalf and some behavioral issues.
Then the situation was dissolved by him. No, they didn't step in. I didn't step in. The dog stepped in because he knows appropriately how to act because of his socialization.
That's a good point. We were just talking about this today. We started Bruce Wayne at that daycare at 4 months old. So that's the other component, like us training him as well, but getting him acclimated to those other scenarios, which includes confidence around other dogs, different size dogs, and things like that. We started that very early with him, which I think does help contribute to what you see with Bruce Wayne, the fact that he's super patient and tolerable with all types of dogs. His reaction isn't going to be to bite a dog. No. He's going to give you the warnings. He's going to do those steps. He's very, very patient. Yes. And I think it's because we, again, took the time to bring him to daycare, even though we didn't necessarily need to. We'd be home for the day, but it was like, no, let's get him out, get him with the other dogs, see how he does. And then the other thing, too, that's kind of important, when we pick up Bruce Wayne from daycare, it's not like, thanks for watching my dog, peace. We built a relationship with the individuals that we bring him to and have long conversations about what dogs were here today, what size, what breed, what gender,
play with them.
How did he do, what did that interaction look like? And they're so good about giving us that feedback. So important, again, as you're raising your dogs to make sure that they're being properly trained. Like, like, are they really aggressive, or what was the full scenario there? Because people are quick to throw around the word aggression, in particular with this breed. Not saying they can't be, but again, what did that scenario really look like? And so Jason and I did a lot of assessment, a lot of discussion with anyone that watched our dog, whether it was daycare or whether it was our older parents watching him. You know, Jason's parents are a bit older, and
70s.
they watch him with no issues.
And there's I have set rules.
Correct.
Like, there's people in the area that are friends with my family. I'm like, Mom, Dad, nobody at the house. There's a Bruce Wayne in the house. I don't want anybody coming in here. You can go to them. Keep the dog at home. Nobody's allowed in the house. And you know, if somebody basically, if you're having someone watch your dog, again, this is all over the place. You have to have set rules, and you have to be assured they're going to follow the rules. How they walk your dog, commands they give your dog, things they do with their dog. If they're playing with your dog a certain way that you may not want them to, you have to let them know. Have rules, make sure they're going to follow them.
I don't think this video is all over the place. I think every single thing we've touched upon will play into whether or not you, as a new Cane Corso owner, views a scenario as too much or aggressive or I can't handle it. All these things come back to training and the breeder, all those things we've touched upon. It is all so important. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. Are you capable of handling this?
And guys, we're not dog trainers. I'm really good with dogs. I've had dogs my whole life. She's had dogs her whole life. She'll listen to what I say and follow through with it because she trusts what I say. She will give her recommendations and I'll listen to her as well. We're not dog trainers though, guys. But you can see, you don't have to be this professional dog trainer to have a dog like this. And it makes me so sad that these people are literally giving up on their dog. Literally giving up on their dog. By the sounds of it, they didn't put in training. I have no backstory here. But it sounds like they're not willing to put in the training because I almost guarantee if the dog has a good temperament to start, if it, was bred with a good temperament, this dog can be turned around. And is it an aggressive tendency they're seeing? I don't know. I don't know how old the dog is. I don't remember. Did they say?
No, we don't have any context.
So
really. It was a very general message. It just makes me sad that you get a lot of those. That's very concerning to me. And
people want the status symbol to look cool to have a dog. It's like no, this is like, I am so protective of my dog. It's like insane.
Like, Jason gets mad if someone refers to Bruce Wayne as it. How much that thing cost? How much it cost? How much that thing weigh?
Yeah, I'm like, it's not a thing. I get wicked protective of him. He's my baby.
And the other thing is Jason spends so much time between the videos, but also in his DMs, like, trying to help you guys. Like,
I do.
And I'm like, sometimes, babe, I'm like, you can't help all these people. You try to.
I try to.
But there's some people that you can't help with this stuff.
And it comes down to how much of your life are you willing to sacrifice. That's one thing you need to ask before getting any dog. Any dog. And then add in a breed like a Cane Corso that needs a lot of attention, know?
And I think in particular, too, if it's the family dynamic, when you have little kids involved and things like that, if you're not going to be able to have it properly trained, that is when I see a lot of people rehome dogs because they're like, well, I can't risk my child's safety. Understood, but you really have to make sure you're assessing that and diving deep into how that scenario is going to play out prior to getting the puppies.
As Kara said, that's been a huge struggle with me posting videos and putting Bruce Wayne on social media. But on the flip side of it, I've had so many DMs as well saying, thank you saved me from getting a dog, which I thought I'd be ready for, and I'm clearly not. People just getting out of college. That's not the time to get a Cane Corso, You're probably not married. You want to go out and on dates with guys and girls. You don't know what job you're going to have. That's definitely not the time to get a Cane Corso. You probably don't have a lot of money. You have school loans. They're very expensive to own. Buying is the cheap part. The $3,000, $5,000 to buy one, that's the cheap part. It's the upkeep every single year, how much they cost, which is another reason why we haven't gotten a second one yet. Between how much time they take to train and how much they cost to own, that's why I haven't gotten a second one yet. We want to someday, don't get me wrong. We definitely have not given up on that idea.
We'll have a whole farm of them.
Yes, we want a farm of Cane Corsos. Would you guys be into that?
And chickens.
So I'm not trying to sound hateful to this person.
No.
they definitely made a very bad decision in getting a Cane Corso if they're ready to give up already. I have no clue, like she said, any context, the backstory of this. Comment down below if you know anybody that is looking for sounds like a younger Cane Corso that needs strong, firm leadership. Maybe it can help this person out, and then I will forward them this video.
Share this on your socials too. That's always super helpful. If you know people that may benefit from it, share this video on your socials, or send it to the people who are interested in getting a puppy.
Yep. Do you have any closing comments here?
I mean, I love this breed. I don't want to discourage people from getting the dog that they want, but I just really hope people do the amount of research it takes ahead of time and really think about what's best for this new puppy you don't even have yet, versus just thinking about what makes you happy. I know it's really hard, but really think about how this dynamic is about to change your life. And
again, guys, make sure you do all the things on the way out. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, ring the ding-a-ling. Merch in the merch box below. Get yourself some sick merch, some Bruce Wayne merch. Thanks for watching. Share these videos. Let's keep growing this awesome community, guys. Thank you all so much for all the love and support. Until next time, Bruce Wayne, myself, and Kara will see you later. Peace.
Peace.